So this is a self-healing yoga practice which is helping to embody the consciousness shifts, the clearing that's taken place throughout the group healing, all focused on the core relationship issue. So predominantly the centres that have been affected and gone through transformation is the sacral centre and the heart. Both of those are the sort of the gut-brain feeling centre, and the heart, which is the emotional centre. And that feeling of opening beyond our own personal sense of heart or kind of identity into that deeper love. So we're sort of created some simple practices so that we can integrate those shifts and the clearing that's happened genetically and karmically. So hopefully you'll be able to sort of use this practice every day, so we make it short and simple to apply. And you can make it adaptations or any collaborations that you feel according to what's going on in your body and what your needs are. So really, you could think of this as a practice for really helping to embody self-love and allowing the perspective to come in of feeling this form as part of the divine, and allowing that conscious action of moving from love in every movement. So it just reminds me of the quote from Amma, which is, yoga is any action done in full awareness. So really just applying that, recognizing we don't need to do some big outer movements, but to really find the unraveling from your core, that depth of stillness that's there, and to move from the within to open like a flower outwardly without force. So with that in mind, really take time to move into that place of gentleness and self-care to really nurture yourself through the transformation. So just to begin with, a practice of centering. Find a comfortable sitting position, whatever's comfortable for you, a Sukhasana. Maybe you want to have your feet out at the same alignment as the knees, and drop back a little bit to root the grounding cord and to help the pelvis flower and open, to drop the hips down, to relax the buttocks, but to grow the spine upwards. You think of that lotus flower with its roots in the mud, rising up to open. And then from here you can allow the shoulders to relax, the heart space to gently open, just allowing the fascia to spread there, and dropping the shoulder blades down without a sort of force. Again, the sense of softness and yielding, which is a kind of theme we'll take into our practice. Allow the palms to face up. If you'd like to use Jnana Mudra, which is index finger and thumb connecting, and rest the back of the hands on the knees. So if that's not quite comfortable for you, use a chair, anything that feels that you can allow the spine to really float, and thinking of the whole head area, almost like the opening bulb of the lotus, and that feeling of floating the spine, so we're not compressing and collapsing down. So there is space between each vertebra as we grow up and open to space. So from your comfortable sitting position, however that is, just allow a witnessing of the breath, so just natural as it is, without any technique to begin with or without any manipulation. Closing the eyes, centering the tension here into this Hadyan, this center of the sacral chakra, just below the navel. If it helps you centering, just place your right hand there if you need that. Breathe into the lower abdomen, allow that expansion, that feeling of dropping consciousness into the feeling center. Perhaps we've been sort of breathing clavically up here in our chest and tightening our shoulders, locking in our jaw, and we want to just drop down out of any sort of adrenal, survival sort of energy or tension, and let ourselves rest in the sort of the belly of being, if you like. And as you rest here, the breath fills the hand, if your hand's here or hands facing up. Full inhale, exhale. You're going to sigh out with the mouth slightly open, just allowing a easing of the breath out. So breathing in And as you breathe in this time, feel the belly really expand, but it's more than that. We allow that sense of expansion to move beyond the physical form, beyond that sense of finite boundary, through the energy system and expanding into space. So you don't have to make that hand movement. You can keep your hands as they are, or the right hand on the belly, and just feel the sense of expanding as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, feel that sense of drawing in, self-nurturing, that turning within, which is perfect for autumn as we reach the equinox, the sense of closing, returning into the self, returning into your origin. So it's a metaphor, but it's also a real physical act to like curl within, center here. This feeling center is often where we don't want to be because we don't want to feel. We busy our lives transcending that. But this is where everything transmutes. This is the alchemy of a self-aware practice, that you breathe into the feeling center, and what was held within or suppressed is opened to. So it's able to transmute in the light of awareness. So just gentle in-breath. Exhale. And perhaps really sigh on that exhale. And I'd encourage you to use sound as well. So there is a kind of somatic letting go. You sort of vibrationally massage your lower belly. So it's just breathing in. Sighing out. Releasing tension as you do so. Continue this for some time. I'm going to demonstrate these exercises very quickly, but I would say take time to do for at least 5 minutes per sort of posture that's suggested. So from that initial centering practice, just take your hands onto your shoulders. Take an inhale. Like you're breathing up from the earth, opening the heart space, draw the shoulders back. And exhale. With that same sighing out, bringing your elbows together. Open up the heart and the chest. Sigh out with the mouth partially open. Close the elbows together, making full circles here as your hands rest on your shoulders. Really spreading the fascia at the chest to open up and to create a little bit of lymph system drainage there. As you open up, these can be also known as the grief points here, just at the shoulder joint. They can hold a lot of grief, sadness, sorrow, and they connect obviously into the lungs. So part of when we've gone through a deep relationship core issue releases, you might notice that the heart's able to now go fully open, and the feeling that this sort of breath can enter deeper into the lungs as a lot of the past conditioning is moved out. Take in this sense of new you, new beginnings. Full presence in this moment. Full circles. And then sealing that practice for a moment, just take the thumbs, interlace the thumbs, swiveling around till we make these sort of wings of the eagle, and rest the palms here in this eagle mudra, which is specifically to consolidate, to create integration, self-love, self-nurturing, as you rest the hands here at the heart. And then taking a deep breath in, we're going to use a mantra. So the mantra for the heart center is YAM, Y-A-M. And you can intone this or make harmonies, choose how it wants to move for you. But this power of Nada Yoga, of mantras, sound healing, is not to be underestimated. So really take your time with this. Take an in-breath. You might notice that as you use the vibration, it sort of dissolves tension and holding, and everything's able to sort of soften and expand. So go with it. Try it for a few times. Breathing directly into the heart, into Anahata Chakra. Yam. And then just let your bird fly free and expand and open. Take your wings back. Interlace the fingers if possible, or just hold on to the elbows, either one. Open up the heart. Inhale. And exhale, drawing forward. Drawing the hands over the head. Squeezing out tension from the back of the heart. And the weight that we've been carrying in our shoulders, and rise up. Take an inhale, rising the hands all the way up. Bring the thumbs together and the heels of the hands. And like an open lotus, draw that down so you're collecting the nectar at the heart, filling up till you close that mudra so you can see that, the full open lotus, closing that mudra into Anjali mudra at the heart, which just represents the 5 fingers, represent the 5 senses turning within to pratyahara, consolidating, resting at the heart, centering here. Relax the body. So there's a depth of awareness here where you're rising up and yet rooting down. And there's an openness at the heart, a relaxation at the shoulders. And just breathe here for a few moments. And then returning to that mantra when you're ready. Yam. And you just repeat this a few times at the heart, centering there. When you're ready, let go and just make yourself as the offering, just as an act of devotion, pouring the hands free, with the symbol of just letting go, relinquishing, and making yourself this offering. You are the puja. Plant the hands, root them down into the earth. You're plugging into the mains, into the source. And as you place them down there, you just offer your head, synonymous with offering the ego, bowing down. Letting go of the sense of separate I and resting in the whole. Earthing, rooting, grounding. Take an inhale, rise up. And again, you take your time between each posture. Take the left hand and unwind from the left hip, releasing out of the pelvis. Start to spiral the body a little bit. Really powerful for the sacral chakra. So sort of a digestive massage. And as you rise up, you're unwinding the shoulder girdle all the way up to reaching into the tips of the fingers. The hands might be in Jnana Mudra, index finger and thumb touching, rising up. Place the right hand down and just start to open up the side body, so we open up our lungs and our respiration. Exhale. Reaching over, perhaps looking up and then making another little shoulder roll just to release the shoulder joint. Depth of breath, inhale. Keep the heart space open without collapsing and squeezing at the heart center. Rise up. Exhale, inhale. Release out of that right hip this time, the right pelvis, the masculine side of the body. Throughout this group healing, we've been releasing a lot of genetics. So as you find you work the left and right side of the body, it might feel different. You can help it unwind through conscious breathing into the right side of the body fully. As you rise up, reach for the sky and yet rooting down. Exhale, stretch out. Might feel different that side, just notice. And then maybe take a shoulder roll. Deep breathing into the back ribs, breathing into the bottom back part of the lungs, which you might have ignored. Full awareness in the back body, front body, rooting down. Stretching over, and it can feel such a nice relief to open up and fully breathe into those lungs that take in life. Sometimes in the relationship healings, you might have felt a lot of grief moving or sorrow, sadness. So we're opening the heart space, but also opening the lungs and the respiration so you can breathe life in fully and also deeply let go on that exhale. So feel the sense of this cranial rhythm as you move, the sense of inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Place your hands onto your knees. So you might find that you've been sitting in a chair for this if it's more comfortable for you. Still place your hands on your knees. Inhale, rise up, lifting the navel up to the heart and opening the heart as you do so. Inhale. Draw the shoulder blades together and down the back. Draw the lats down the back like that V shape rooting into the earth. Open up the throat, massaging your thyroid here. Exhale, rounding the hollowing out of the body, drawing the lower ribs in, drawing the navel. So we're actually entering Uddiyana Bandha. So that is the bandha or the energy seal for the sacral chakra. So we're emptying out. And you feel the sense of just a subtle engagement, but it's like the pubic bone just draws up towards the navel, and there's a drawing in as you empty the breath, rounding the back of the heart to release out tension from the back of the heart, which is said to be the opening. The back of the heart is said to be the opening to divine heart, from your personal sense of heart to divine heart. So opening that through this curling, concaving, hollowing out the body. The chin comes to the chest, the tongue to the roof of the mouth, Jalandhara Bandha. So it's very healing for the throat chakra, which is often the expression, that communication center from the sacral chakra. So when we've gone through deep clearing in the sacral chakra, you often find that we need to cough and clear our throat too, which is then able to express more truthfully, directly from the heart. So hollowing out the body here, breath is emptied out, chin to the chest, tongue to the roof of the mouth. Navel is slightly just engaged in, pubic bone rising up to the navel. You become a hollow reed to be shaped by the infinite. Inhale. Open the heart, draw the wings together. Exhale. And we can really unwind the spine in our own rhythm in this way, working the thoracic and the lumbar spine. So take your time with this one, and I really recommend playing music to help you keep in that soft, flowing, water-like rhythm. And then we're going to make circles here for the second chakra. And as you make circles, you might want to place your hand on your lower belly, or you could just place your hands here on the knees. Let the breath lead the movement, maybe increase that circle as you come down. Exhale, blow away tension, holding. Inhale, filling up, rejuvenating, restoring. Coming back to center. Release if your legs were crossed, releasing the legs. Just bring the knees together and making a little self-hug, showing this side on. So I'm making a little self-hug here, which is really nice for the lower back area and the whole second chakra. So if you can take an inhale, rise up first of all. Exhale, curling within. Just think of the way autumn, everything's recoiling back into itself. The sap is drawing back down into the roots, into the earth, and everything in you is turning within. And as you rest here, we're going to take a few moments here. The consciousness is really opening the back of the heart area. So you're taking deep breaths in, and if you'd like to use that mantra Yam again, the seed sound of Anahata Chakra, you can try that. Breath in, expanding the back of the thoracic. Yam. 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 And you can sort of feel, notice how it feels on a somatic level to do these sort of turning within postures, which help to really bring in that element of self-nurturing, self-care, self-love, to really feel the power that you have within you to come back to your source energy, that replenishment and rejuvenation. So from here you can do the same posture but lying down. Take the knees to the chest. First of all, inhale. Hold the in-breath in. Draw the knees to the chest.
Holding the breath still in. I'm going to sound like a helium balloon. Hold it. And release. Inhale. Hold it. And release. So you might notice a lot of lower back tension releases with this one. And you can feel that the breath has the power there to really just push out any energy that's just ready, that's been stagnated, just to push out and release outwards. So full inhale, breathe into your belly, full inhale. Let the abdomen expand, everything expand on the inhale. Hold the breath. And release. Let the legs go up into the air and make some little circles for the ankles. And we're going to just play around with a little Seta Bandhasana, a little bridge. So root the feet down into the ground, hip width apart. Find that you can find your ankles are beneath the knees. Really, again, using Uddiyana Bandha to actively seek towards the earth, where the navel sinks down towards the earth. It's not a sucking in, it's more of a rooting the navel into the earth. So it has this grounding, earthing principle. And we feel that sense of deep connection in the earth, sense of being held, being nurtured, being supported as we earth down. And maybe we can do this on the grass somewhere outside where you can feel that barefoot or bare hand connection to alkalize the blood and really rebuild that biofeedback loop, so that you find that your resource, your nurturing, comes from the earth feeding you, sustaining you. As you plant your hands now, take the scapula together to open up the chest. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Very slowly start to direct the pubic bone up to the sky, unfurling, like just curling, rising up. You start to release the psoas here out of the survival sort of fight, flight, freeze tension, and open, rooting down yet rising up, lifting the navel towards the sky as you keep the knees engaged towards each other in alignment. Keep rooting down yet stretching through the quads. So as the quads release and stretch there, you find the psoas releasing and opening. You find the diaphragm opens and release. So full breath in here, palms rooting down into the earth as you rise up and roll down. So the thoracic makes connection first, vertebra by vertebra rolling down. And we're going to just move like this through a wave in your own time. Take it really slow or more like a wave-like undulation as you feel. So from this activation through the spine, take an inhale. And rolling onto your right side, just make a little nest or a little pillow for yourself with your head on your arm, and take your left hand down. Close the eyes for a moment. Find the breath and bring the knees to the chest as close as you can. So it's a very fetal sort of inner child position. And just rest here for as long as is needed to integrate, to feel that sense of self-nurturing, self-care, in that innocent embrace of yourself with everything that's arisen. And you notice also you're creating length through the lumbar where it's often quite compressed. So there's some nice space opening up in the lumbar region in the sacral center. So from this sort of little self-embrace, let's roll into one of the most nurturing postures there are, the child's pose, balasana. So you can take any variation you like here. So if you need to use props or blocks or blankets, play around with what works for you. Take your knees a little apart and find this sort of rolling action through the spine as we just did. Inhale, start to walk the palms forward so we feel the sense of cat-like slinking. You know, think of how a cat is so self-nurturing. It really is a teacher for us human beings. It really takes self-care and has this sense of just resting in beingness. It's always making the cosmic Om with a humming or the cat purr. And as you just stretch forward like a cat, then raise up, you might not be able to see that, but you raise up your wrists so you can traction out your arms. You're on your fingertips, stretching forward, yet the opposite direction is going this way with the tailbone. So there's a two-way force always in yoga, that yang and yin. You can feel that extension is decompressing the spine, so that can feel really nice, healing for the nervous system. Rest the head on the ground. If you need to have a prop, take a pillow or a blanket and rest the forehead. Some of you might like more using a pillow like a bolster in between your legs. And you can use a bolster if you have one as well. And you just place that in a restorative pose. So we enter a restoration phase and we just rest down there. Maybe just have the head turned one way for a little while. As you breathe into the spine, as you expand at the heart. And then another direction to release the neck both ways. And you could even fall asleep in this posture. I really recommend it. And take your time. So if you haven't got a bolster, just make something which you can roll up a yoga mat and wrap it in a towel, or use a pillow folding in half, so that you can rest on a bolster for quite a long time, so you enter a really deep restorative phase. So from here, you can choose that to be your last posture if that feels nice. The other option, if we want a little bit more of a heart opener, is to just take the bolster or our prop, whatever we have there, and to either keep the feet on the ground, the knees bent, or bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open up, or stretch out the legs as you feel. So you're either in Supta Baddha Konasana, like this, where you can just feel that the prop is resting there on the back of the heart, and then open up your heart space intentionally and physiologically open. Spread out your arms, palms facing up, and rest. Completely drop the doer, drop any efforting there, and just be held as the heart goes through a gentle, restorative opening. You can keep changing your leg positions as you want, but you feel the space coming into the chest. And we're going to use a mantra now, a very powerful ancient mantra, Sanskrit mantra, which is Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath. Ma means unconditional love in Sanskrit. Om means light. So as you breathe in, you're breathing in love. As you breathe out, you're breathing out light. So breathing in Ma, breathing out Om. Breathing in Ma, breathing out Om. So take your time with that practice and allow yourself to really sink into a deep surrender in that self-nurturing. So from here you would naturally go into a Savasana, where we choose to have a blanket and place it on top of your whole body, even if you're not cold, just to soothe the parasympathetic nervous system. And rest there without any props or pillows. And you can find that everything just sort of drops down into the earth as you surrender and integrate. Thank you for listening. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti.